Hey, everybody. Welcome to the, what the heck is this? It's been so long. Jeez.
Hi, Andrew.
This is, oh, it's right here on my screen. Federation Friday. Talk about Star Trek. First time I am watching most of these episodes. Let me fix that. Not that you need to see me more clearly. That's better. But, yeah, we had a couple of weeks off. Sickness and other things come along. And the first thing I want to do is apologize to Vic Mignogna. He was scheduled to be on this review 4 weeks ago. And then Marty had an emergency, so we canceled, and then I don't know, then what happened?
Weren't you on vacation?
Oh, I had babysitting duty with the grandkids 2 weeks in a row. And then last week was vacation duty with the family, and sicker than I ever been. Boy, you know, being with family is great, but it sucks at the same time because somebody always brings some extra baggage, like the flu.
And kids are nothing but germs anyways. They're a big petri dish.
Yeah, and considering two of my, actually all three of them go to daycare. So that's like that's the hub of sickness. So it's, you know what, it just weird. And I've never felt, and you know, driving 14 hours to Tennessee, staying 3 days and then turning around and going back.
Ugh.
It's kind of tough. You know, especially on a body in the shape that I am in. I'm a host for everything. But yeah, Marty said he was going to be here. He is currently AOL. No, damn. I just jumped back to 1994. No, he is currently AWOL. Hopefully he'll send me mail and tell me where the hell he is. But we can get started. This week we're talking about who mourns for Adonais. And the thing that confused me, let me just put it right out there, is there's nobody named Adonais in this episode. Right? Isn't Adonais somebody's name? Oh, here he is, Marty McDonough.
Can't hear you, Marty.
Yeah, and he's muted. All right, we're gonna send Barkley down to fix your. But yeah, is Adonais somebody's name, or is Adonais just a term of like godlike creature?
I mean, he was Greek mythology.
Right, but in the episode, isn't it Apollo?
Yeah. It's been a couple weeks since I've seen the episode, but yeah.
Oh, Andrew says, I don't know why, but the lady on the top right looks very familiar.
He just seen me last night.
How much? I don't know. So, Marty, unplug your microphone and start using sign language.
Or get a whiteboard and write on it. No.
Nope, you got nothing. I'm going to send him a new computer.
See, usually Andrew has this problem. Although his has been very good lately, so. Well, no. He lost the internet.
Yeah, was it last night?
Well, it's been that way all week, and they thought it was the router, but I guess it turned out to be some kind of waterproof cord on the outside that evidently wasn't so waterproof, maybe, or maybe Andrew, when he was mowing, cut into it.
I've been there.
That happened to my cable one time.
We start off the episode with the Enterprise just flying through space, having just chit-chatting, right? And that's all they're doing.
Yep.
Categorizing gaseous anomalies and stuff like that. And they stop by Earth, where there's a strange lack of intelligent life. And we find out Scotty has got a crush.
Big crush.
Scotty has got a crush.
Yes, he does.
Oh, we can hear him. Yay.
So in cleaning up, I pushed the desk too far against the wall and bent the hub cable. So nothing was connected. The lights were on, but there was no power. There was no data connectivity across anything. So one swap out later and I'm back. And I did wear my Boba Fett Mets hat that I mentioned 3 weeks ago for the occasion.
Nice.
Was that a from a game, or?
You know, my nephew got it for me. I don't know if it was from a game, or I think at one time, I think the first or second year they did the Star Wars nights, they had like a limited edition stuff. So, yep, one of my prized possessions.
I got mine. My Texas version. It's a trucker's hat.
This is a snapback, but it's not a trucker's cap.
My favorite one. But yeah, you were saying Scotty has a crush on Carolyn, huh? And we start off this episode with a strong HR issue, don't we?
Once again, the Final Frontier does provide its HR challenges. They all just openly talk about Scotty finding this woman attractive and then go on to basically trash Lieutenant Palamas because McCoy doesn't think that she's interested in him. And suddenly becomes a girls' locker room on the bridge, with Spock wondering if he should pass Lieutenant Palamas a note in gym class.
You know, I just find it unbelievable I mean, I guess that was the late 60s where you can do that kind of thing.
Yeah, I again, if you look at it through when it was made and the time it was made, yeah, the only thing that was missing was the complimentary pat on the ass as she walked through the turbo lift doors.
Yeah. And here we have Kirk going, damn. Am I too
Well-
late?
Kirk is using his Kirk sense where he can smell sex in the air. He's got a whiff of it, and that's his long range sensor.
So to speak.
Yeah. And here's the doctor offering his.
He's got firsthand knowledge.
Yeah.
And apparently she's on the other hand, so whatever that means. Is Kirk already implying that Scotty's leaving to get married? And
No, I think he's talking about Palmer. She's a lieutenant. She's an officer. Because they make reference to, women, they'll join the service and marry out and then they leave. So does Starfleet have a no married people allowed policy, or is that just maybe a Kirk rule on the Enterprise?
Yeah, but we've seen at least one wedding on the ship.
True. That's true.
so then after all the harassment, we get Spock and he goes back to work because he doesn't care and his ponfar is over apparently.
Yeah.
And
He's got 6 years, 9 months, 3 days to worry about it again. So did anybody else happen to catch at one point in the episode, I could swear, instead of calling the planet Pollux 4, Kirk refers to it as a slang word for Polish people in his log. I had to play it back 3 times with 3 different people in the room, and they said, yeah, that doesn't sound like Pollux 4.
I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't.
If you blink and you miss it, it's after the first act break. It was like, oh wait, I played it back. I was like, ooh.
Well, now I'll have to watch that again.
Because that could be an HR thing too. Yeah.
I'm always up for a good slur. And who was this? Who had the who do you think had the hand job in the effects department?
You really want to answer that?
That came out wrong.
These effects are special. I want you to know I was practicing over 2 weeks, so bear with me.
Coming to get you. So is the hand in the credits?
The hand does not make the credits. I thought we were getting a Green Lantern crossover at one point, but not to be.
And we see that, I mean, it doesn't look like a female hand. So we know it's a male hand, and that's got Sulu intrigued.
Yes. Oh my.
So
Mr.
he
Science
says, Captain, that thing's a giant hand. And then he says, Spock, what is it?
Yeah, so Mr. Science again wants to just rule out that it's actually a giant flesh hand in outer space with green glowing material in it. And like Spock immediately cuts it off. Not living matter, idiot.
You mean the clear green hand is not living matter?
I mean, that's clearly some sort of energy field. Yeah. Look at this stunt acting here for the guy by the rail.
Yeah, he was good.
The last time I saw motion like that, I was at US Skates and I was holding the rail and got knocked over.
So now the hand grabs a hold of them and they can't move, right? And they're stuck and here's the title. Who mourns for Adonais? And you were saying about Adonais, isn't he different to Apollo?
He's in the pantheon of the Greeks. I had this for you. Hold on.
And I guess I should say again, we were scheduled to have Vic Mignogna on to talk this episode because this one goes right into one of his Star Trek Continues episodes where they re-meet Apollo, but after the first after these last 10 minutes, I'm kind of glad he didn't show up. So,
I think you would have had fun with this.
So who is Adonais?
So it's actually based on a play by Percy Shelley, and it was about the life and legacy of John Keats. So it's got to do about the nature of man, immortalization, and things of that nature. So it's a line from Keats.
So actual
reference to WWE wrestler Adrian Adonis, who passed away 40-something years after this episode.
So actual literary line.
Yes.
Hmm. And they seem to be stuck in this hand.
Well, I mean, to be fair, fate dealt them a bad hand, so they've got to play it out.
All right, so they're going to go look at it, and then we get a head. And this really intrigues Sulu because, you know, the head matches the hand. So the gist of the story here is was this guy actually a Greek god or just an entity that followed and became a god by knowing what, you know, the Earthlings did?
I think they sum it up nicely in the episode. These guys arrived on Earth, and to the simple villagers of the time, they would have been seen as gods.
So again, another Q-like.
Galaxy
all-powerful being, and
Galaxy seems to be full of them.
from a guy who did not believe in
Deities, yeah.
Yeah. And there's the wonderful Christmas tree ornament.
Yes. There's not one kid alive who had a small toy enterprise who didn't reenact this scene at one point or another. And realized how stupid it looked.
Now, do you think that is because it would be? Was it done because it could be cheaper on effects by just rotoscoping a hand in there holding the ship, or it makes it more godlike than putting a round force field keeping it in place?
I think it's probably both. I think it works from an effect standpoint. Yeah, it's simple. Let's do it. But I think it kind of also works from a story standpoint because Apollo hasn't seen humans in thousands of years. And a display like this would be something that simple humans would understand. So I think he's just using a trick out of their book that they've used in the past. That's the way I interpreted it.
So back in the day, you could imagine them with this hand lifting ships out of the ocean and bringing them ashore.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't go forward or back, and they're stuck there and nothing's working. And I guess they decide just to let's go down and have a chat with these people. And here he is in the almost completed Lincoln Memorial.
Yep. With the odd picnic table in front of the temple. That just threw me like crazy. I don't know why.
Yeah, like change it out to a fountain or something.
Now, to be fair, for you people out of New York, this is kind of what a typical Staten Island backyard looks like. So it kind of took me out of the episode. But yeah.
You were visiting your aunt,
who's got the Sunday gravy on.
This guy's kind of like New Yorkish too. So he's been just here waiting for more people to show up, or specifically humans?
Anybody who worships, I guess.
I think you would have preferred humans, but I think Debbie's right. Anybody who came along.
And there he lists off the top four.
Who but James T. Kirk can get away with a line with, "But you're no god to us, mister." Now, perhaps Apollo should have put some underwear on before he decided to grow to that height.
Yeah.
Which explains this scene as they look up.
Especially the look on Chekov's face.
Chekov's thinking, Sulu is not going to believe this.
Now, was this reworked? Did it look this? I mean, this for 67 or 68. This looks pretty good
It
for you know, a layer.
it's cleaned up a little bit, and I think they added more layer and depth. There were some things that you could see through around the shoulders and knee, so they did clean it up quite a bit. But yeah, even in the original cut, it was pretty good effect.
And this is Uhura's station, trying to contact them.
Yes.
So she has control of the Infinity Stones.
Yeah. How many times you just wanted to pick one of those up and pop them in your mouth like a lozenge?
So Chekov is on the job, and he's figuring it out that there's some kind of power source coming from somewhere. Is it just behind the shrubbery or something? Or
one thing I'll tell you with rewatching this is, well, Chekov is often played for comedic relief. He's actually a very good officer. To the point, as this develops on, you'll see Spock almost take a semi-mentoring approach. Often when Spock gets up and leaves the science station, it's Chekov who relieves him.
Oh, in following episodes?
Yeah. Mr. Kyle makes his way up to the bridge for an appearance.
So now they're going to try and turn their force field backwards, right? Their shields.
Yep, they're using an old Doctor Who trick of reversing the polarity.
Pulling out the plug and then putting it in
upside down.
And that's why we don't we have those special plugs with the one side is bigger end, so you can't do that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So again, she's like, who are the other ones that were? They were like history buffs, right?
Marla MacGyver.
They always have like history buffs that come down with them.
Yeah, I think she might have been. Was she anthropology?
Yeah.
I think she was. Yeah, because she's wearing a science uniform, so I think she's astroanthropology or xenoanthropology. But she knows her Greek lore, that's for sure.
Either that or she watched Percy Jackson.
Lightning Thief. She saw Clash of the Titans. She's got a good idea what's going on here.
Right. Unfortunately, we don't see the mechanical owl Burgess Meredith played fly by.
All right. Can I just say how distracting Chekov's hairpiece is in this episode? I just find it made his head look twice as big as it normally should be.
Yeah, that looks familiar. I mean, not that I have one of those, but I don't know. Did they just plop the back of a of a wig on his head?
It actually looks like they plopped 3 wigs on his head based on the part there. One in the front, one on the left, and one on the right. And obviously, this was done, as everyone may or may not know, to cash in on the popularity of the Beatles.
But it was very distracting.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, it does get better as we go on.
He looks like one of the singers from the B-52s.
Like the bouffant one.
Yeah.
If you ever watch Bob's Burgers, it kind of reminded me of Linda Belcher's hair on that show, his wife, with the giant bouffant.
Mm.
So once again, the ship of learned scientists are stating the obvious.
So he's using energy, and I you know what? It's been 4 weeks, and I can't remember how it ended.
It's in the temple.
The temple is I don't know if the temple's the source or the temple is what's allowing him to manipulate it, but the temple is the key.
Mhm.
So he wants them to stay, right, and hang out, and
Worship
he's
him.
gonna give them everything that they want, as long as they worship.
That's his.
Thrives on.
And didn't we have an episode like that already?
Well,
I can't remember.
Episode 1 with Gary Mitchell, when he forces Kirk down on his knees and says, "Pray to me." I mean, like right out of the chute, we're getting somebody, a godlike being who wants to be worshipped, and even
Scotty
trained to a lesser degree.
Yeah. Scotty here drops down the gauntlet.
And there's that beautiful photographic lighting we never see anymore. The glowing skin, the eyes radiant, framed beautifully.
Now Apollo is he's into her, and that kind of sets off Scotty, doesn't it?
Hmm.
And then Scotty gets he gets zapped a couple of times, doesn't he?
Yeah, Scotty gets thrown all over the place in this episode, and which each subsequent attack doesn't learn not to attack the god.
So let me ask you this: why couldn't they have used this character in Star Trek V?
I'm sure they could have. But then you got to go back and pay the original writers for creating the character, when it's cheaper just to kind of riff your own thing. Because I would assume the writers would have been very old or very dead by the time Star Trek V came along.
Well, if they're dead, then
There's always residuals.
they wouldn't know about it.
To paraphrase RoboCop 2, there's always next of kin. So that line, all the working parts are fused. The gears, the knobs, I mean, what working parts are we talking about? I also found it unbelievable that that phaser took a lightning bolt and didn't explode. And no navel. We're still in the I Dream of Jeannie era here.
Yeah.
You can't show a belly button.
I always thought that was such a weird of all the things.
When you look back at what was not allowed, it's staggering. Oh, yep. Now we get backhanded.
And was that supposed to be Scotty? Because that does not look like Scotty at all.
Well, that's the thing. He hit him so hard that it changed his facial features briefly and his body structure. That's what
God,
smacked by a god.
He was God smacked so hard it changed his DNA. And now we have an HR complaint with the Greek god.
Meanwhile, she doesn't yell. She doesn't scream that Scotty, this guy who's been close to her for God knows how long now, just got lightning shot and bitch slapped. So you think Scotty would take the hint at this point? But sadly, no.
Well, we've all been there.
Yes, that's true. We've all been there. The lightning bolt would have been easier.
Yeah.
Okay, do with that line as you see fit, but there's another HR complaint right there.
And he is really upset.
Yeah, Kirk has to kind of like verbally snap him out of it and be like, you got a job to do here. And this is the one thing I love about Scotty. Once you tell him that's an order, that's it. He'll follow it. So would stiff-necked Thistlehead also fall under an HR complaint?
Yeah, that I'm not aware of. I would think they would have seen that on the report and been like, is Kirk losing his mind?
Is that like calling somebody a cotton-headed nitty muggins, like from Elf? Or... Okay, now he's going back again to that 5,000-year thesis he has.
So now they're prepared to do the reverse polarity.
Which apparently has no effect. But they are starting to track down where this energy is coming from.
Yes.
I'm kind of surprised they couldn't pinpoint it better.
Well, they had a hand blocking the,
Yeah.
The
blocking
hand
the
got
way.
Well, they kept looking for it, but then the hand did one of these. and took out their sensors. So
See, now if Spock had only thought of that and made a hand that went like this, they could have blocked. They could have blocked that beam.
yes, a simple process of elimination on the entire surface of the planet.
And here we are where the Swamp Thing lives.
I half expected to start hearing Kermit singing Rainbow Connection when I saw that shot.
Why are there so many songs about Greek gods and how they pick beautiful women? So now we're getting his backstory, which is the other gods. They left, right, and went back to wherever they're from, their ethereal plane or their planet.
To me, it almost sounds like they just gave up and were gone.
Died.
I think the episode, the continuation episode, the fan film that was done, kind of gives a lot more backstory to where they wound up. And I'm not going into details because I don't want to spoil anything, but I thought it was a really logical progression of this story.
And he really thinks he's a god. And
Well,
he needs that worship.
yeah, and now he goes into this, spread themselves across the wind. To me, that's almost a metaphor for giving up and ending it.
So I guess, I mean, that's where we get like what do they call them? The demigods?
Yeah,
They're
like Hercules and
Perseus.
yeah,
They're all offspring of these alien creatures.
yeah. And there's some of the nicest plastic fruit ever on television. I think everybody's grandmother had a bowl of this at one point or another from like 1963 through 1983.
Yep.
Plastic fruit.
And who would have to dust it?
Yeah.
So they withhold Chekov's paycheck unless he does something good. That doesn't seem. Yeah, do that to the Russian guy, right?
Yeah. Again, HR. The nice part is once he gets paid, he doesn't have to go to supercuts in space anymore.
Are we sure he's looking at his chest?
Yeah. Kirk's thinking of all the places to have an extra organ. And here's Scotty once again getting zapped the fuck out of. Scotty should be dead at this point. To me, this almost took me out of the episode. And when I watched this, I didn't remember it as well as I thought. In fact, I really, really enjoyed it. But this relying on Scotty must suffer, I thought was just kind of lazy.
Yeah, it was a little overboard. Is that the only way you can get him into an episode, is to beat the piss out of him?
It almost got to a comedic level, like at the beginning of the Naked Gun movie with Nordberg.
Yeah.
He leans on the thing, the wet paint, and hits his head. And
all we needed was a cake.
Yeah. He winds up with his face in the plastic fruit. What gesture is he doing here? Force choke. Nice, Apollo.
I mean, Vader was still first because that was a long time ago.
Okay.
And this is the future.
Yeah, well, maybe the midichlorians came from the Apollo gods. Hell, he just used force lightning, didn't he? And for some reason, Chekov has got his weapon pointed exactly at his crotch.
Well, it doesn't work. The weapon, I mean.
I guess so. They're inactive, right? He sits down wrong, though. Ooh.
And he does have the "I'm the captain" pose down, right?
Yes, he does. Scotty's up again. I'm okay.
He can't get his arm to move, so... I wish you hadn't mentioned the haircut.
Right? Now you can't not look at it, right?
I can't not look at it.
But I like that Chekov is basically like a junior science officer through this whole episode. This is a great scene.
So, she's bent over the console.
All right, so
is this an HR violation?
Look at all that high tech equipment.
I thought Spock's Ponfar was up.
But I do like that he gives her a little compliment when he says, "I can think of no one more qualified to do it than you." And you get a little half smile out of Laura, which small scene, but I like it because it shows that Spock is learning how important things like that are to his human compatriots.
So he tells them they're going to gather laurel leaves and light ancient fires. And will those fires be hardy?
Hit it. Hit it for yourself. Go ahead.
Okay.
So, I don't know. As far as gods go, that doesn't seem too demanding. He's asking you to rake and start a fire. Ooh, okay. He's not asking you to build a pyramid, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Or carry
After you will mow the lawn.
and some shrubbery. Okay.
We love shrubbery.
Listen, he's not telling him to carry down 2 giant stone tablets with writing on it from a mountain. This is like 10 seconds worth of work on a good day.
Kill a deer.
But Sicko thought that's the funniest thing they ever heard. I think that was McCoy, actually.
Yeah, I think raking the lawn was a little bit funnier than killing a deer and sacrificing it.
Yeah. And trim my hedges while you're at it, too. So I really thought Scotty was going to get it again here.
So he's been patient. He's Scotty's been struck by lightning twice and punched in the face, but he's not going to be patient anymore.
That was patient. I'd hate to see what impatient looks like.
And here he's doing his best Jerry Maguire.
You had me at lightning hands.
And later on, he's on the phone going, "Show me the laurel leaves."
Show me the drachma.
And there's
Now, are
Chekov with
those supposed to
the.
be his sideburns?
That almost looks like how they, in like Next Gen, they would do the female Vulcan wigs with those long, pointy bang type things coming down. That's almost in a round burn.
And he's got the Kirk chest out pose down pretty good.
Scotty's
in the gut.
Scotty's got the Sears catalog model pose down. Menswear. So Palmer's gone all in. And again, for a show as progressive as it was, this is now at least the second, maybe third time we've had a female crew member that's wooed by the bad guy in the show.
Yeah, the antagonist is always winning the women.
Starfleet, in hindsight, was probably wrong to reverse that no girls allowed policy that they had in place.
That closed captioning comes in the wrong spot.
He's thinking about the spot here. You've known him 20 minutes, Lieutenant. We've literally been down here 20 minutes. And honestly, I turned on this character through the episode. I was done with her by the time we get to this point.
And Kirk turns her around.
Well, figuratively.
Yes.
Listen, if he could outthink a machine, then I think he could outthink Lieutenant Palamas here. And Uhura did it. Again, proving that she's knowledgeable and a valued
Capable
member.
and looks good with Chekov's sideburns.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, but hers looks better.
Who wore it better?
Exactly.
Come to think of it, Chekov might be wearing one of her wigs.
And we have Scotty. He's worried that if they start something, he might. Could he? Zap her and send her somewhere.
Well, again, if Scotty doesn't realize it's over here, I don't know what to tell him. But like, Kirk doesn't turn around and say, "She says she loves him." Like, walk away, dude. And Palamas does try and come back here. She starts to feed him the information that Kirk wants him to hear. But doesn't go over well.
Yeah, he gets annoyed, right?
That would be an understatement.
And I got the feeling that she was also realizing that's why she was following Kirk's orders, was that he struck a nerve and was like, although I'd like to live forever, would she live forever? That's the.
I don't get that impression. It's that he has said they've been with mortals. He doesn't say anything about granting them immortality. And I don't recall, although I'm no expert in Greek mythology, if any of the mortals were ever turned into immortals. Try and say that 5 times fast. So now we get to I think probably one of the most interesting sequences in the episode. And that is I'll call
somebody scoring a touchdown.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you should put it that way, because the research I've done and the books that I've read indicate that this was really written as a rape scene.
Really?
And if you go back and watch it, it really is. It's subtle, but he is literally ravishing her with the power of the elements and nature. And to her credit, when the actress who plays Palamas comes back, watch her stagger back, disheveled, looking as if she was attacked. It's played very subtly, but very effectively. So we shoot through the thumb. See? Look at the bruising on the arm, the hair all mussed up,
Scratches on her forehead.
scratches, yeah. And she kind of staggers in like in shock. And they got the picnic table too. And this whole sequence at the end is heartbreaking, and it's played beautifully. I think the performances in the episode, to me, when I was younger watching it, probably went over my head, but watching it as an adult, I really appreciate what they put into the story.
Yeah, she really is beat up.
She really is beat up.
And now all he wants to do is go home.
Yep. And even at the end, McCoy and Kirk were like, "Damn, I wish we didn't have to do that."
And it's interesting the way they tie in what the ancient Greeks actually did as far as inventions and artwork and stuff like that.
It's amazing. And for anybody who wants to learn more on the subject, definitely consult the My Big Fat Greek Wedding trilogy, where you can learn all about the advancements of the Greek civilization.
Is there actually 3 of them?
Yes, they're pretty good. Interesting enough, there was a scene, and I don't remember if it was filmed and deleted or it was written in the original draft, that would have referenced that Palamas was pregnant when she got back to the Enterprise. And harkening back to Debbie's earlier point about what they would allow and what they wouldn't allow, the censors absolutely would not allow an unmarried pregnant woman on that ship.
Mm.
And that's why that element of the story was ditched. And I think, honestly, it's a very important element of the story. And it would have given it a whole new dimension.
So, speaking of, you don't know if there was like these other deleted scenes. What is this?
So I did find out that they had hired a young comedian with no experience to play Apollo at first. Got 2 days into filming and decided it needed to go in a different direction. So this is a rare still from the unused footage.
Now, is that from your personal collection?
No, it is in my personal collection, but that's just a screen grab I did because I wasn't going through 14 boxes to find it.
That's pretty good, actually.
And of course, from the great Futurama episode where no fan has gone before. Yeah, the hand makes an appearance again.
There is no denying that this show is a cultural phenomenon to this day. You know, references and jokes, and especially, you know, like the Simpsons. No, it was a Futurama. Didn't they have Leonard Nimoy's head? And
Well, that's from that episode.
Is that from that episode?
That's from that episode, yeah. And actually, all the surviving cast members did voices in that episode. Great episode. It might be a nice palate cleanser between season 2 and 3.
Do we have to cleanse? Are we needing a cleanse after season 2? Before season 3?
No, but
season 3 is not going to cleanse us out.
Season 3 might clean us out, but not in a good way. Kind of. Season 3 might clean us out the way bad Mexican food might clean us out. I enjoyed this episode a lot more than I remembered, and this was not one that I would seek out to watch repeatedly. One that I would put on in the background maybe, or just skip over. But having watched it through older eyes, man, I really like this episode.
Yeah, and it was one of those where you know, like usually I'll watch these things and be like, man, they got to shorten this. 52 minutes is just way too much. But this one was actually pretty good. Yeah. And I did go right in afterwards and watch the
Pilgrim of Eternity.
Yes. Yeah. Because I was hoping, like I said, I was hoping to talk to Vic about it, and someday.
Mm-hmm. And I would love to talk to him too, because I think the story is crafted in such a way that it's a logical extension of everything we saw on screen. Where a lot of times when you get a sequel or a follow-up story, either a key concept is changed or something from the original is ignored. But they really honored the source material, which I forgot how closely they followed that source material. That there was nothing in that episode that was like, that's cheesy. It was all believable and very respectful of the original story.
So when you say followed the source material, honored the source material, and it wasn't cheesy, you mean like this? This is the latest from the Federation Friday album.
Joker Boy.
It's called Apollo.
Joker Boy. We're cruising through space, just chilling on patrol, when a giant green hand tried to grab control and said, "Bow down." I said, "Nah, we're good." You toga wearing diva misunderstood. You call that a robe? Looks more like a napkin. Flashing your pecs like a space pageant has been. He flexed real hard, tried to show he's divine, but I dropped one line. Bro, your toga's a vine. Apollo's got no toga game. No, trying to rap style, but it's super lame. You're draped in bed sheets, acting divine, but we rock Starfleet with a phaser line. Apollo's got no toga game. No, talking Greek myths while we dance in the stars.
There you go, right?
But we struck back with a trick or a beat and a warp speed track. I'm stuck ego with my fencing expertise. You can't power a ship with narcissism, lad. I'm a doctor not impressed by his ancient dad bod. Apollo's got no toga game. All puffed up like a myth on crack. Wants praise, grapes, and a foot massage. But we give no props to a space mirage. Apollo's got no toga game. Throwing tantrums like a cosmic drama. We bust his temple with rhythm and rhyme. Now he's just a statue with no punchline. I'm Bones with a sass and a stethoscope. This toga tantrum and he's lost all hope. Said Palamas, baby, let's build a shrine. She said, sorry, Apollo, your toga's not fine. I checked his vitals, got complex alert. And that toga, buddy, is just a curtain skirt. He vanished in the wind, all sad and alone. So I sent him a coupon for rent-a-throne. Apollo's got no toga game. His thunder's weak and his toga's tame. Tried to vibe like he's some space.
You better be careful. You're going to get the fourth lightning impact.
Togas are for college frats and Caesar salad bar. This is Starfleet, baby. Dress code's on par. Now hit that warp beat. Peace out.
All right, there you have it, the latest addition to the Federation Friday album. Huh?
It's a double album.
Yeah. 24 tunes.
Certified dilithium.
Yeah. All right. What do we have coming up next week? Hopefully we have it next week. I'm moving to a new place and I don't know when internet is going to be installed.
Oh,
I might have to do my show from my phone or steal internet from a neighbor. Yeah, we're moving to a 55 and over.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
Nice.
very nice. No kids, no rugrats running around. Pool, hot tub.
Same area in where you're located?
No, we're moving just outside of Denton.
Okay.
So
Okay. All right. Good luck with the move. That's major.
yeah, that'll be tomorrow.
You
So
have to pack
from-
all day tonight.
Packing up tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So Deb, what do you got coming up for your week next week?
Monday, we are over on the MCU Monday. We're talking about Jessica Jones, episode 5, season 1. And then Thursday, this week, we started talking about the animated series Clone Wars. So we'll be on actually, we're doing episodes 2, 3, 4 because it's a whole arc.
And are you back on Sith Dominion permanently or just?
I was there last week, so it just depends on what they're talking about and if I'm not pooped from work. But yeah.
And Marty, you went and had some testing done at the regular space laboratory.
Space Laboratory, regular one. Yeah. So actually, that got moved around. I actually was supposed to go to Trek Long Island. And the last minute, I wound up canceling those plans because I was supposed to go for the testing, and like half the guests all had cancellations. So I'm rebooking for it's in July, Eternal Con, which is a big one that I went to last year.
Right.
I'm looking forward to that. And between that and some family things going on, I'm packed solid this week. So,
Nice. And Deb, how was Fan Expo? I see that Andrew went. He had a good time.
Yeah, they had a good time. They, I know they sat in on the Back to the Future panel. He got to meet Ashley Eckstein, Ahsoka's voice for the Clone Wars series, and got pictures with Biff and I was going to say Leia.
what is that photo op go for?
Well, her name is Leia. It's just spelled differently. Leia
Yeah.
Thompson, who played the mom. So yeah, they had a good time.
And he
That's
met.
a fun group from what I hear. That's a fun group from what I hear when they get together. They're the Back to the Future cast.
Oh yeah. He said the guy that plays Biff is just hilarious.
And he got to meet Mayor Goldie Wilson.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
wonder
well,
if
thanks.
asked him to sign manure.
You
That'd be
know,
a first for everything.
yeah, you know, a 3D printed ball or just a regular ball, and you glue some brown grass to it, some laurel leaves.
And then I'll kill a deer
Yeah, there you go.
and get my right.
All right, we will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Federation Friday. See, I remembered now. I remember what it was called. That's from my
there's
Gatorade. Yeah, I couldn't
sure
remember it. I had a
He's got
rough time at the beginning of this.
monitor.
Yeah, I don't have it listed anywhere on this screen except everywhere. So we will see you next time. What is the next episode?
That would have helped. Star Trek.
What is the next episode called?
Lost my papers, so I don't know. What number are we on?
Oh, there's no math.
Yeah, come on, Debbie. You've been doing this long enough. No number.
Well, no, because I was going to say if this was
31?
if we're going on number episode 4, it'd be Mirror Mirror, but I don't know where we are.
Let's not get into production and we got off that pony in season 1, so we're not doing that again.
All right, let's all go to the phones.
Mirror Mirror. Now that I'm looking at it. Oh, no,
I was right.
No. It looks like it is the Changeling.
Yeah. What episode number is that?
That is season 2, episode 3.
Okay, so the week after will be Mirror Mirror.
Followed by The Apple, and then one of my all-time favorites, The Doomsday Machine.
Doomsday Machine.
The Funyuns, the Bugles episode.
The Bugles episode, yes.
So what is the Changeling about?
The Enterprise encounters what they think is a ship, which turns out to be a probe of immense power with a very surprising origin. And it features the probe Nomad.
Okay. Now, which is the one? Who's in that episode? Because I remember one. I thought I might have them mixed up, but I thought there was an episode. Is there an episode where they? Oh, what is his name? I think he's a commandant. Black guy that, and he brings a.
Oh, you're thinking of The Ultimate Computer.
Yes. Okay.
With
Yeah.
Daystrom.
Right.
Richard Daystrom, who will have the Daystrom Institute named after him in the future.
Yeah.
And fantastic actor whose name is escaping me now. William Marshall. William Marshall, who is best known probably for playing the lead in Blackula. Which, for you younger viewers, if you've never seen it, horrible name on the film, fantastic movie. Check it out.
All right, and stay after Marty because I want to find out what that racial slur was.
Oh, yeah, sure. I didn't mean to get that excited about it, gang. Sorry.
We will see you next time on The Geek and I. Have a good night, everybody.
Live long and
Later.
prosper.
Or something like that, right?